Okay. This is it. We drained the oil, we filled it, and this is the bechamel. And we're just gonna add it. How much do you want, Robert? Do you want it on top?
Yes, please.
Okay. Just add some more of this sauce. This is his second one. The first one he had without the extra sauce.
Don't be shy.
Oh, I won't be. I won't be. Okay, as a matter of fact, why don't we just pour it all in on the side. Okay, I only have one hand, but I will scrape the rest of that. And then, here, let's do a tomato garnish. A tomato garnish. All right, that's it. I promised him I would not ask him any questions about it until after the fact. Except I did say I would ask you one question, right?
I don't remember that, but I guess. Oh, come on.
All right, I gotta go, guys. That's it.
I'm like glue over here. Look, my tongue's
Robert's
watering.
salivating. All right, Robert, that's it.
No, it's way better with the sauce.
Significantly?
Yeah, I got burned the first time.
What do you think of the sauce?
Good sauce.
All right, I'm gonna leave you alone now. Is that fine?
Peace.
All right, 1 to 10, what would you say?
12.
Okay, here's all my ingredients. So I'm gonna be making a sauce, just a really nice cream sauce that I'm gonna use for a recipe. And I'm just going to use up the rest of my sheep's milk. So I'm gonna have 2 cups of pasture-raised sheep's milk. I'm gonna have a tablespoon or 2 of this A2 ghee, which is so flavorful. I have 1 large poblano pepper that I've roasted, seeded, and taken the skin off. I have the stalks, green only, of some green onion, a scant cup of yellow onion, 1/4 cup of organic King Arthur all-purpose flour, epazote, which I got. I'll show you the video of that in my yard. And I have 1 jalapeno, about a half of a large jalapeno like this one that I have just put into some like thin julienne, and I've salted them because they were really spicy, and 2 cloves of garlic. So that's it. And all of this is just gonna go really quickly. I'm pretty much just gonna throw it in a pot and it's gonna thicken, and then I'm going to blend it. I might put it in the Vitamix, or I might just use my hand. What are those stick blenders called? I used to call them burr blenders, but I'm not sure anymore what the name is. But epazote is a wonderful herb. So I looked it up, and it's called worm seed, skunkweed, goosefoot, Jerusalem parsley, pigweed, West Indian goosefoot. And it smells like a little like minty, like basil-y, like, oh, just a, if you've ever smelled rue, sort of how rue has that mysterious flavor. Some people have described it as camphor. I don't get that. And you'll often find it in green sauces and beans. And it's very fragrant, incredibly fragrant. And it supposedly helps dispel gas or help alleviate some of the gaseous nature of beans. So, but it's a wonderful flavor. I enjoy it very much so. And it's gonna go into this cream of poblano sauce, I guess we can call it, made with sheep's milk. And then I'm gonna, like I said, reserve it, and then I'm gonna make a recipe with it. So you don't have to put the epazote because it's very hard to find. It's native to Central America, I believe, in Mexico. And you can substitute cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you could put parsley, or you could just literally leave it out altogether, because cilantro is another sort of a controversial ingredient. My daughter's not a huge fan. I might put some fresh right after I blend it. I'll taste it and see. So there it is. We're gonna make cream of sheep's milk poblano sauce.
Judy, did you decide to make an appearance, you little brat? I love you so much. Let me give you the kisses. I love you. You don't look feral right now. Did you bring me a butterfly today as a treat? You're so good. Did you eat your chicken, Judith? All right, Judith is gonna go outside. You wanna go outside, Judith? Give me one last kiss. Judith. Judith Faith. Give me the kisses.
Oh, you're pushing. Oh my heavens. Okay, this is epazote growing in my yard. They're very small now, and all you do is just pick the leaves. You can rub them in between your hands and just try to be careful. They self-seed, so they kind of just grow among the, say like here's one growing along the rocks. It's been kind of dry, so I'm not getting a ton of it. These guys. Oh, little habaneros or little somethings. How cute. Little peppers. Anyways, that's epazote. It just grows around and I pick it. All right, so now I've heated up my ghee. I'm gonna add my scant cup of roughly chopped yellow onion. Got my garlic. The ghee is also ordered from an Amish dairy. They do the ghee. That one is Amos. I'm going to turn this heat down just a little. I don't want it to color too much. Okay, I've got to turn this off for a sec. I've got to go get my my garlic. I left it in the dining room. Okay, that's what happens when you don't have your mise en place ready. Okay, here goes the garlic. I just took off the ends and roughly chopped it. Don't walk away from your food. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day talking about, she said she used to walk away from her food. And that didn't go so good all the time. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add This is the jalapeno. This is actually, I'm doing a chicken saltado, which is a Peruvian dish with like sauteed chicken and fried potato type thing. And I have some pureed Peruvian ají, which is one of the peppers that they use in their food profiles. It's a lovely pepper. I have some seeds that may or may not be growing. We kind of just throw seed. We don't seed bomb, but we just throw a bunch of seeds out there. That was one of the plants I try to grow every year. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is add the roasted. I just like cook them right straight on my burner in the kitchen, turning them often until they look really black and blistered evenly. And then I put them in, you can put them in a bag, or if you're trying to reduce having your food by plastic, you can put them in just a glass container. It's fine. And just let it steam. And then you take off the skin after it's all sort of pulled away and sweaty. Okay, the next thing going in is the green tops of green onion. Turn the heat back up just a little. I have it at, see, on my burner it's a 4, but it's just a medium low, I guess. I think I walked away from something once or twice and it didn't go good. Okay. The King Arthur, it's 1/4 cup of organic King Arthur flour. And all of these ingredients, you can use butter if you want. You could use avocado oil. Like I said, I'm using the ghee. I'm gonna let the flour cook out of this just a little bit. Then I'm gonna add my sheep's milk, and then I'm gonna let it simmer. Checking it very, very often. You don't have to obsess over it, but certainly you want to make sure that you're not walking away from it, because one, it has the milk. I have an ample enough size pot for what I'm doing it. If you're using a smaller one, you really want to keep an eye on it. And secondly, cream sauces that are flour based can certainly stick and burn, and you just want to keep an eye on it. I'm not going to salt this yet. I'm not going to season it really at all. I'm going to probably salt it at the end, but I don't want to like dehydrate or create anything weird. Because I'm only using 2 cups of sheep's milk, if I need to thin it out and it starts getting a little too thick before all the veg is really soft, I have just some water, some spring water, or you could just, I actually have a chicken broth that I poached some chicken in, and it kind of has some of the same flavors. And I was poaching chicken to make enchiladas the other night. So I'll either use one of those two. I'll probably use the chicken broth. I'll let you know if I do or don't, and I'll show it to you before I add it. Technically, I could just use the rest of what's in the sheep's milk. It's not much. It's probably just another half of a cup, maybe a cup. When you're using those raw milks, I like to, use them up. That's what they're there for. You gotta use me up. Just under a cup. First I want to work this out before I add the whole thing. Work out the flour. Do a little scraping at the bottom. Those little scrapings can end up being spots where the sauce sticks. So you just want to work through them now while you can. The rest of the whole 2 cups. My sheep's milk. Okay. Looking good. Want to really work out the flour in between the peppers and the onions that are in here. If they're sticking, you want to just work through them. Such bad lighting in here. I get better lighting in here. My kitchen has a window that faces west, and it's about 2 o'clock, so the sun is not quite there yet. So I have like an offset kitchen light on my ceiling, and it casts this shadow. It's like a crescent moon. Crescent moon, I'm gonna spin you in my sauce. I feel just a little sticking here. Tiny little bit. Okay, then I'm gonna turn down the stove, and I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Checking for, like I said, just anything. Stirring every few minutes. And like I said, if I end up adding more liquid, I'll let you know how much I added. I think I'm gonna have just about I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of a cup on standby, just so I don't have to start running around like a chicken with my head cut off if I need it. Okay, look at how thick it's gotten. Looks beautiful. But I'm gonna go on ahead and add that. I'm gonna add just like 3/4 cup of that chicken broth. Here it goes. You see how viscous it is? It's those good farmer's market chickens, even though there was no bones. This was not a stock, it was just a broth. So the difference between a stock and a broth is the broth is just meat, could have a little bit of bone, and then the stock is bone based. But it's very nice. See how it's kind of jiggly? Now, if this was a stock, then it would just be solid. I'd have to chunk it out. But it's doing very nicely. And like I said, I'm using it in here, that particular one, because I poached some chicken for enchiladas and I had it. I think this looks very nice. I'm just gonna let this cook a little bit more. I'm gonna turn it off and maybe, I don't know. You think I should just add some more broth so I don't have to baby it too much? Okay, so here we go. Another half cup. You could, like, again, you could just add water. You could add boxed chicken stock. Okay, I'm gonna let that go a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna add the epazote to it before I blend it. I do want it to kind of steep in here. But it's like basil, it can darken a little bit. I want it to be vibrant, and I want the flavor of the epazote to be very, very fresh. If you're omitting that step, just forget it. You don't need to know. But if you don't know, now you know. Okay, not quite a tablespoon of salt. And last but not least, epazote. You don't want your cream sauces to start sticking on the sides. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to just let this simmer. I gotta get going with my Peruvian chicken. Well, my pollo saltado. Okay, I'll show you once it's all cooled before I blend it. Okay, this is it. Look at how nice and thick it is. Coats the back of my spatula. And then all I'm gonna do is cover it with some cling wrap. God, my color is not so good on my phone for some reason. It's this light. It's like very like buttery color in person, but it's not so buttery color. Anyways, this tastes wonderful. It would be wonderful with some pasta just now. I know a lot of times you've seen like recipes with poblano peppers. They put corn and different things like that. So I still haven't figured out what I'm gonna do with it, but like I said, I've got to get on with things. So I'm just going to cover this with plastic wrap, and then maybe after dinner, after it cools down a bit, I will process it. This is how you cover a cream type sauce so it doesn't get a skid. You just put the film right over it. The film right over it. Okay, done. Okay, remember the sauce? Well, I got busy last night with that chicken saltado. I made some Peruvian chicken potato dish, and by the time I checked on my sauce, it had already gotten really thick. So I just put it in the fridge, and now I am not going to blend it because it has flour in it. I just think it's gonna get gummy. So what I decided to do is regroup. I shed a couple of tears, admittedly, but the show must go on. So what I did was say to myself, self, what can you do? So I thought, why don't I do a macaroni and cheese with the sauce. So turn it into a white creamy macaroni and cheese with some sauteed corn, some sauteed zucchini, a little green onion, some Chihuahua cheese, which is wonderful. We normally get it from my father-in-law from Chihuahua, Mexico. And then make my chile rellenos. First, do the chile rellenos, which is, these are my roasted poblano peppers that I have roasted on my stovetop directly on the flame, put to steam, cleaned, de-seeded, and then let to dry in front of a fan for about 40 minutes to get the moisture out. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, why don't I make a chile relleno? Make these like a chile relleno unfilled. Then I'm going to create the macaroni and cheese. Then I'm going to put the macaroni and cheese into the made chile relleno and bake and serve that with some pork. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And that's how you overcome disaster. You know, like I said, I could have still used this for some kind of spaghetti or God knows what, but for what? When we have all this yummy stuff we could do. So that's it. Macaroni and cheese stuffed chile relleno. Another thing I just wanted to say before we get to the cooking area is that I have salted the zucchini because I don't want this mixture to be watery. I've slightly salted it. I'm gonna let that sit a minute, and then I'm going to like squeeze them with a thin kitchen towel, and then I'm gonna saute the corn, the zucchini with a little of my ghee, my A2 ghee I get from the Amish. And then I'm going to, once the mixture has all kind of cooled down, I'm gonna add the sauce to it, add the cheese, add the macaroni, season to taste, and then set that aside. And then I'm going to get my my wonderful egg whites that I've been saving and add just the tiniest little amount of all-purpose flour as needed just to give it body. Dust these with a little bit of flour and then fry them up and then assemble. So just to give you a preview of what's happening in this place. Okay, let me put away my cheese and start making my way to the kitchen to start getting the water out of the zucchini and sauteing the corn. And then finally, like every time I say I'm gonna leave, something occurs to me, is that corn and zucchini and cream are very traditional ingredients that are used often with poblano peppers, and they're a great combination. They're good, but also they're seasonal right now. So where I could have done other things, and of course you can add chicken to this, or you know, any variety of things. I think this is just something I have on hand, and it's good. It works. It's definitely easy to eat, and they're just very friendly flavors that have gone together for forever and ever. And I love it. So I'm gonna go with this and let's see how it goes. We'll talk more about chile relleno talk when we get to that point. I wanna talk now. Not now, when we get to that. Okay, I just had my skillet here, my pan, preheating with about 2 teaspoons of my ghee. Now I'm gonna add my corn. This is fresh corn that I just took off the cob. I want it to have lots of surface room. Look at how dry it is, popping. Get your popcorn. feel the starch sticking, the cornstarch. This is fresh sweet corn, but once the corn is refrigerated, even in the minute you cut it off the cob fresh, it starts to develop starch. It's starchy. Which is fine. That's fine with me. I mean, not if I wanted to eat it fresh sweet corn, but with the saute, I don't mind that it's getting a little bit stuck to the bottom. I'm gonna season it once I add everything to it. Okay, that's my zucchini. The other side of my bowl. Over cook any of this. I just want to give it a nice flavor. And dry out the moisture. There is nothing worse. You know what? We don't dry our food enough. Like we wash it, it's all wet, and then the thing gets wet, and it's mushy, and it steams. Get into the habit of taking your food out early enough so any condensation dries, and wash it and dry it thoroughly and leave it out so that it can not be so wet unless you're making soup. Okay, and then I didn't save this, but hold on, I'm going to turn off my heat. I didn't save this earlier. There goes the greens of my green onion. But I decided, since I didn't think it would be creamy enough, to add about 2 ounces of my mixture that would be creamy. So I'm adding 2 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese to it. This is cold. Ideally, it would have been at room temperature. But I have the pan off now, and it's fine. I'm going to let this just kind of melt with the pan, and it'll be fine by the time I add the sauce. I'm also going to add my macaronis now. Let me see. I had 2 cups of cooked elbow macaroni. They're cooked al dente. I had other pasta kind of, hanging around. So, good to use it up. Okay. That starch is also going to help the cream cheese to become not so separated and oily. And I don't want my sauce and everything to get watered down. That's really a pet peeve. Okay. And I'm wondering if that's enough. Let me think. I guess just add the whole thing. Add the whole entire 2 cups of my al dente macaroni. Hold on. Okay. That's all of it. I am going to go get the sauce. Not all of it, but a good amount of it, so it can start heating up. It's still cold, and that's fine because I don't want it to be, I want it to be a little warm, but when I add my Chihuahua cheese, I want the cheese to maintain some of its integrity when I put it into the poblano pepper chile relleno. Ooh, just heard like somebody coming to a screeching halt. Okay, that looks delish. You could add more seasoning to this, but I really want the fresh flavors of my veggies and my wonderful milk sauce that we made to kind of shine through. You can add a little oregano, and I might do that, just a tiny little bit of Mexican oregano. But first I want to add the sauce and make sure that it's just not too many flavors. Not too flavorful, just too many flavors. Okay, let's go get that sauce. Okay, see that how I put that saran on there? And look, no skin. My sauce has no weird skin. Looks great. Okay, so add that saran wrap when you're making these cream sauces. Okay, I'm gonna give it a stir, and then I'm gonna add it to our macaroni. I just wanted you to see how well that works. When you make rice puddings, pastry creams, anything really that you just don't want to have that film. Okay, enough of that, because I could do this all day. So it wasn't such a bad idea. Good thing I cut those veggies small. I still see a little bit of texture, which is fine. Okay, let's add. I added about 1.5 cups of our sauce. Try to get up in it. I like for you guys to be in the pot. Thoroughly mix. All the flavors and textures. That look creamy. I'm gonna grab a tasting spoon. Okay, I also grabbed my Mexican oregano in case we need it. Okay, time for a taste. I wanna taste everything. Okay, this one's for you, come on. Okay, see. It's wonderful. Wow. I'm torn. I'm torn what to do now. Do I add the oregano? Wow. It's creamy. The zucchini and the corn. I mean, the corn adds the sweetness, the zucchini also, but it also adds that nice fresh pop. That wonderful aromatic green roasted chili flavor of the poblanos is fabulous. And when I add the cheese, the Philadelphia cream cheese really gives it that little bit of acidity and smoothness. And that Chihuahua cheese is gonna give it a little bit of that melty, funky Chihuahua cheese flavor. I don't know what to do. I think I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna add oregano. Am I? No, I'm not gonna add oregano. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to let this sit just a minute. I'm going to go start prepping everything for our frying our chile rellenos. So for right now, this is perfection. And I have the sauce on standby in case as it sits and the pasta absorbs, it needs just a little bit more. But again, I don't want it soupy. I want it to be more like a stuffing and creamy. Not wet and loose, because if there's extra sauce, I'll just serve some sauce on the side to go with it. Okay, I'm using the Julia Child method of prepping my bowl to whip egg whites for the chile relleno, and I have about a 1/4 teaspoon of white vinegar, and I'm going to be adding some salt. That's not gonna taste so good. Just using sea salt. A little bit. And this kind of just gets the grime off, any oil that may have collected. So let me grab this. How am I gonna do it? And then all you do is you scrub it. And you wipe it off, but you don't rinse it. And you do that even if you're doing a sweet meringue, any kind of thing. Because as we know, and if you don't, egg whites do not like oil. And it's going to be like smelly, but it's not going to add any odor or anything off-tasting, off-putting. Okay. That's pretty much it. I kind of let it sort of dry, and then in a second I will just wipe it out into the to the sink, and then I will start my egg whites, my meringue basically, for my chile relleno mix. So here's some egg whites. I'm not going to use them all. That's about the whites of 6 eggs. And then I'm going to add 1 egg yolk, possibly a little salt to taste, and a little flour, maybe tablespoon-ish. I'll have to see. I'll have to cross that bridge when I get to it. All right, time to add the eggs. I already took out the remaining salt that was sitting there. I could have left it in, but let's see. Am I tempted to just use the whole thing? Nah. Yes, no, yes, no. It's like with my luck, I'll need a little bit of egg white. My Amish order comes in every other week. But I mean, I can get my eggs at my regular farmer's market, but I'm trying to be cheap. Okay. Got that in there. And I have my egg yolk. I took a little bit of flour out just to be ready. Okay, here we go. You can also use, instead of flour, you could use cream of tartar as a stabilizer. Just a little bit over room temperature. A little colder. Real cool. I was caught in a whirlpool before it was done. My dad took us to so it would be like a little lake, not a lake, like a little swimming hole. And my grandmother, we were visiting my grandmother. And she's like, where are you guys going? And stuff. And I was like, oh, we're going to go here. So we got there. We were all having fun. So my dad realized that all of us were like getting sucked into the water. Listen to the ages. They know what they're talking about. Your mother and my father. Okay, I'm going to turn this off just because I think now is a good time to add a tiny little bit of the flour. Just a little. I put it in this little spoon. Okay. Have your mise en place ready. Hurts. Oh, I gotta take a few second break. So weak in my old age. Okay, let's just check this anyways. Not yet. See, they're not stiff peaks. Arm break. Okay, look at these. Isn't that cute? Aw, how adorable. I made like a little dollop. Do the dollop, how cute. I destroyed you because you were so adorable. Good enough. I'm gonna call it good. Good for now. Okay, now I'm going to add my egg yolk. Look at that beautiful, hey, that looks like an egg. Okay, well it is an egg, but you know what I mean. Incorporate that very quickly, and then I'm going to add a tiny little bit more of the flour, maybe about another quarter teaspoon. Okay. Beautiful. Yes, you do. You do. You look beautiful and fluffy and yellow. Hold on. It's not good light. I think I have to color correct. Does this look yellow to you? Okay. Let's get back to business. Okay, so this is what I mean by it should be nice and dry. I'm only going to do one at a time because it can get gluey. It can get funky and gluey, which we don't want anything funky or gluey. Okay, unless you want to make funky glue. All right. Let's see. Give it the shake. Ah, got on me. Hey, hey, I didn't want it. Okay, move over. Accidents happen. Okay. Let's see. Get this going. This is gonna help hopefully it's gonna help my, theoretically, it's gonna help my egg mixture stick. Okay, and normally, you know, you have to like try to keep this closed, but luckily I want it open because I'm gonna fry it. I'm gonna do it fried open. So that's perfect. Okay, pause. Time for a dip. A nice fluffy dip. Ooh. Okay. I'm actually gonna need a spoon for this. So I want plenty. Plenty. Okay. Let's get this side. Good and ready. All right. I've got to carry this whole bowl over next to the oil. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, I'm good, but I'm not good enough to hold my camera and dip this. Okay. How sweet is that? I love how it contrasts with the black. Let's fry this in some avocado oil or oil of your choice. Shoot, I have to use, all right, I have to go get my other tool to flip it over. Okay, I was using this little tool. I needed to use both. Okay, perfect. Wow, it looks wonderful. All right, I'm gonna pull it. I'm going to get my little pan and then I'm gonna continue, do all of them. I don't care that it closed down and I don't want them too dark because I am going to put them in the oven. And I want them to have like a really great color. Okay, I'm gonna actually put these on a rack. All right, I have to stop filming really quick. Okay, I literally just pulled the last one out and what I'm doing is I'm just scoring it. See, I've kind of scored them all so they can cool from the inside and then opening them so they can air out a little. Come on, breathe and breathe. Okay, all right. Okay, they're really hot. So I'm letting them cool off on a jelly roll. I've elevated it so because I wanted to have plenty of airspace, and just putting the rack on a cookie sheet doesn't always do the job. So look how beautiful they look, just like how I wanted them. How sweet. And you guys are all beautiful. A good quality egg yolk. An egg does this. It creates that wonderful color. Just lovely. All of you are so camera ready and worthy. Ready and worthy spells stars. Okay, I'm gonna let them sit. I've got to do some cleanup. I'm going to probably try to get in a quick video of what do you do with the rest of your mixture, the egg mixture that I have. So maybe I'll just do a couple of somethings with it. I don't know what. I have a little bit of veg left over, and maybe I'll just fry up some kind of a little patty, or I'll see, but we have to utilize everything. No waste cooking. Okay, I almost forgot to film this. Now I'm putting in the cheese. This is sufficiently cooled. Okay, see, it's not so hot that it's not hot at all. It's room temperature. The cheese is there, and I want it to melt inside of my chile rellenos, which are here. They're hot, so I'm gonna let them cool. Then I'm gonna stuff this mac and cheese into these guys, and then we're gonna serve them with the rest of the sauce under them. Isn't that gonna be yummy? My husband's gonna love this. He is a chile relleno lover. It's one of his favorite foods. But I doubt very seriously he's ever had one stuffed with sheep's milk. What are we calling it? Like a bechamel? Sheep's milk bechamel with poblano peppers, fresh corn, zucchini, and Chihuahua cheese. Gotta tell you about my father-in-law. He was the very first person that gave me true Chihuahua cheese. And we have been fans ever since. I never get tired of that. And recently his brother sent him some. And the Chihuahua cheese is made in Chihuahua, Mexico by a long line of Mennonites who moved there seeking like better farmland or religious freedom, or I'm not sure exactly what the story is, but there's something about the grazing that they do, the feed, those Amish recipes, those Mennonite recipes, I mean, that are so wonderful. It's like a sharp, wonderful cheese. Oh my gosh, we're so sad when it runs out. And he buys it to us in those big old industrial blocks, but we can never have enough. All right, I'm gonna go finish doing something with the leftover egg. That'll be another video. Let's try to get through this. Okay, it's time to fill now. Everything's cool, and I added 1/8 teaspoon of white pepper and an additional teaspoon of salt. And I'm just gonna fill them with this, and I'm gonna put them in here. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to show it, but you'll get the idea. Because basically all I'm gonna do is, let's see. I mean, you know, I'm gonna open them up. This one's kind of open. Being careful not to knock off the outside. I'm gonna stuff them as deep as I can and full. I'll show you them when I'm done. Okay, that was it. Perfect amount. I used it all up for these 4. These make very substantial portions. So this is definitely almost a meal in itself. I mean, I'm gonna serve them with a little bit of pork on the side, but that's only if my husband wants it. He might just wanna eat this. I think after I bake them, I'm going to add a small dice of tomato, fresh tomato, and call it good. I could add it now, but I don't want to cook the tomato. I want to have a nice fresh tomato. So I'm going to let them sit. I'm going to cover them, and then I will bake them right before dinner. Pretty, huh? This is what they look like. They're fully cooked, but they're not baked yet. Okay. One of the advantages of making it early and letting it set is all that oil from the cheese and from the chile relleno drains out, and then all you get is this perfection. Look, it's so yummy. My husband's, this is his second one. Look, these are the other ones. Ta-da! Perfectly crisp and wonderful. You're welcome. Okay. Yikes. God, what a long day. All right. Thank God tomorrow is Friday. All right. I wanted to just comment on this. Finally, I get a couple of moments to myself. Let's see how this does. All right. I added a little bit of balsamic drizzle on my tomatoes. I do have an obsession with acidity. You don't have enough acidity. All right, let me just get an initial bite. All right, so my husband said that I was holding back on him when I gave him the first one without this extra sauce, but I want to taste it. Okay, let me see. Okay. Here's one with extra sauce, the way he preferred it. I'm gonna try both before I give my opinion. Wait, I didn't give you a bite. Here's your bite. Here's your bite. Oops. Okay. Because I dropped it, now I have to make it a little bigger and a little creamier. A little spicier. Alright, let's see. Alright, here you go. This is your bite. No. Alright, just take it. I'm gonna have to eat it. I have to try it at some point. Here we go. They're both really great. Wow, tomato. Get back up in there. There's always somebody trying to escape. All right. Let me try one with everything. My husband really enjoyed the fresh tomato. Here. Yum, yum, yum. That's for you. This is the bite I really want right here. Let me taste this and then I'll give you my opinion. Okay. So the way my husband tells me he really loves a dish is when he says, I want to have that at my next poker party. Which he said about these. And I think these are incredibly pleasant. He loved the corn. He said he loved the surprise of the corn. He didn't mention the zucchini, but I'm wondering because it's so neutral flavored if he didn't even know that it was in there. And I know what he means. The corn and the tomato are very pleasant. I'm just gonna tell you to make this. What else can I say? This is a winner. Even if you just made it as a mac and cheese. If you made it as a mac and cheese, what I would do is I would get the chile relleno, like the poblano peppers, and then do it like you're doing a chile relleno, but I would do it in strips. Then I would get the mac and cheese that I made, put it on the bottom of a small casserole. And then I would put cheese under the let's say the poblano pepper strips that are now like chile relleno fried. And then on top, I would put more cheese. I would bake it for maybe 10, 15 minutes to warm it through, melt the cheese, take it out, let it set, and then add some fresh tomato. That's my thought on it. If you wanted to do it like a casserole, but this is really good. The first time I ever had chile relleno that I can think of, I don't know, I was probably, let me think, maybe 5 or 6. My next door neighbor's Mexican, and I was living in Los Angeles. I love the pieces with that breading. Tastes so good. And it's one of my like first food memories. My next door neighbor is my very best friend, Mercy. Her family is from Mexico, and her mother was a very great cook. And thank God for me. I grew up in a very multicultural sort of a life. And that's, thank God to that. I have the food profile that I have now. But I remember distinctly remembering the taste of poblano peppers as a very young girl. And at first, it kind of was surprising. But, you know, you learn to love it quickly once you taste it. I wouldn't say it's an acquired taste, because it's so friendly, but my mother cooked a lot of Puerto Rican food and Colombian food, some Cuban food, because my dad loved it a lot when we were young. But this is it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this, but this isn't, well, now that I saw this piece, can you blame me? Hold on. So my husband ate 2. I took a little swim. I'm just trying to cut through this. I took a little swim and I wasn't really hungry when he ate, plus I was filming. I think this is the perfect bite. So who invented mac and cheese? Who invented chile relleno? I thank both of you. Turn this into the world's greatest mac and cheese recipe. No way you're getting away. The sheep's milk and the ghee and everything is lost in translation. Nobody would ever know that you cooked it with such quality, unusual ingredients. I almost forgot. Maybe I'm used to the food profile, the flavor profile. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Maybe my daughter will eat. Maybe not. But she missed out. Make this recipe. Robert wants it for his poker party. Oops. And that's, like I said, whenever he loves something, he wants it for his poker party. Poker party food.